Crimson is a strong, red color, inclining to purple. It originally meant the color of the Kermes dye produced from a scale insect, Kermes vermilio, but the name is now sometimes also used as a generic term for slightly bluish-red colors that are between red and rose. History. Crimson is produced using the dried bodies of the Kermes insect, which were gathered commercially in Mediterranean countries, where they live on the Kermes oak, and sold throughout Europe. Kermes dyes have been found in burial wrappings in Anglo-Scandinavian York. They fell out of use with the introduction of cochineal, because, although the dyes were comparable in quality and color intensity, it needed 10 to 12 times as much Kermes to produce the same effect as cochineal. Carmine is the name given to the dye made from the dried bodies of the female cochineal, although the name crimson is sometimes applied to these dyes too. Cochineal appears to have been brought to Europe during the conquest of Mexico by the Spaniard Hernán Cortés, and the name carmine is derived from the French carmin. It was first described by May the Early in 1549. The pigment is also called cochineal after the insect from which it is made. Alizarin is a pigment that was first synthesized in 1868 by the German chemists Karl Graebe and Karl Liebermann and replaced the natural pigment, madder lake. Alizarin crimson is a dye bonded onto alum which is then used as a pigment and mixed with ochre, sienna and umber. It is not totally colorfast. Etymology. The word crimson has been recorded in English since 1400, and its earlier forms include cremison, crimison, and cramoisin. These were adapted via Old Spanish from the medieval Latin cremusnus, the dye produced from Kermes scale insects, and can be traced back to Arabic Kermes, also borrowed in Turkish Kermesi and many other languages, e.g. German Karmzen, Italian Cremisi, French Cramoisi, Portuguese Karmazim, etc. The ultimate source may be Sanskrit krmir, meaning worm may. A shortened form of Karmazinus also gave the Latin Carminus, from which comes carmine. Other cognates include the Old Church Slavic Kruminu, Archaic Russian and Serbo-Croatian Crven, red, cf. also vermilion. Dyes. Carmine dyes, which give crimson and related red and purple colors, are based on an aluminium and calcium salt of carminic acid. Carmine lake is an aluminium or aluminium tin lake of cochineal extract, and crimson lake is prepared by striking down an infusion of cochineal with a 5% solution of alum and cream of tartar. Purple lake is prepared like carmine lake with the addition of lime to produce the deep purple tone. Carmine dyes tend to fade quickly. Carmine dyes were once widely prized in both the Americas and in Europe. They were used in paints by Michelangelo and for the crimson fabrics of the Hussars, the Turks, the British Redcoats, and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Nowadays carmine dyes are used for coloring foodstuffs, medicines and cosmetics. As a food additive in the European Union, carmine dyes are designated E120, and are also called cochineal and natural red 4. Carmine dyes are also used in some oil paints and watercolors used by artists. Variations of crimson. Pink.It is displayed the color pink. The color pink has a hue code of 350, placing it directly within the range of crimson colors. Thus, the color pink is actually a pale tint of crimson. Bay Camilla pink. The color Bay Camilla pink is displayed at right. Bay Camilla pink was formulated in 1979, with a hue code of 344. Bay Camilla pink is within the range of crimson colors and may be considered a light tone of crimson. Fandango pink displayed at right is the color Fandango pink. The color Fandango pink, with a hue code of 342, is within the range of crimson colors and is a bright tone of crimson. The source of this color is the Pantone textile paper extended color. color list. Color number 172033, TPX, Fandango Pink. Radical red. The Crayola crayon color radical red is displayed at right. The color radical red was formulated by Crayola in 1990. This color is supposed to be fluorescent, but there is no mechanism for displaying fluorescence on a computer screen. With a hue code of 348, this color is within the range of crimson colors and may be regarded as a vivid tone of crimson. Electric crimson displayed at right is the color electric crimson. Electric crimson is the tone of crimson which is precisely halfway between red and rose on the color wheel. In the 1930 book A Dictionary of Color, the color crimson is shown as lying halfway between red and rose. Folly displayed at right is the color folly. Folly is a color 1/4 of the way between crimson and rose, closer to crimson than to rose. The first recorded use of folly as a color name in English was in 1920. Alizarin crimson. Alizarin crimson is an artificially created color, used to replace the harder-to-obtain rose madder. Spanish crimson. Spanish crimson is the color that is called Kermes in the Guía de Coloraciones by Rosa Gallego and Juan Carlos Sanz, a color dictionary published in 2005 that is widely popular in the Hispanophone realm. Razzmatazz displayed at right is the color razzmatazz. This color is a rich tone of crimson rose. Razzmatazz was a new Crayola crayon color chosen in 1993 as a part of the Name the New Colors contest. New Crimson, along with cream, is an official color for Indiana University and its athletic teams, the Indiana Hoosiers. The official New Crimson is Pantone registered sign 201. However, in the 1970s, former basketball coach Bob Knight and football coach Lee Corso started using uniforms that were more scarlet or bright red. During the same time, cream gave way almost universally to white, but those colors reverted mostly to cream and crimson in the early 2000s. After then, athletics director Michael McNeely decided that the team uniforms needed to reflect the school's official colors of cream and crimson. Indiana cheerleaders still chant, "Go Big Red." The changes over the years has led to some clashing of colors in some varsity sport uniforms, as is the case with the baseball team's jackets being a different color than their caps and uniforms. Athletic director Fred Glass said, "My view is that we're an awfully big and diverse place. I think cream and crimson and Go Big Red can survive in one place." Coo Crimson, along with blue, is an official color for the University of Kansas and its athletic teams, the Kansas Jayhawks. The color is referenced in the school's alma mater. While not an original color of the school, crimson was suggested to honor a Harvard graduate who donated money for an athletic field at the school. Utah Crimson displayed at right is the color Utah Crimson, the color which is symbolic of the University of Utah. Of all the universities that list crimson as an official color, the University of Utah is closest to the web color crimson. The school's athletic booster organization is called the Crimson Club. Cardinal. The color cardinal is shown at right. The first recorded use of cardinal as a color name in English was in the year 1698. With a hue code of 350, the color cardinal may be considered a shade of crimson. Crimson Glory. The color Crimson Glory is displayed at right. It is a medium shade of crimson. The color is a representation of the color of the flowers of the Crimson Glory vine. The first use of Crimson Glory as a color name in English was in 1948 when the Ploutier color system was inaugurated. The source of the color name Crimson Glory is the Ploutier color system, a color system formulated in 1948 that is widely used by interior designers. Oklahoma Crimson, and Oklahoma Cream are the official colors for the University of Oklahoma and its athletic teams, known as the Sooners. In the fall of 1895, Miss May Overstreet was asked to chair a committee to select the colors of the university. The committee decided the colors should be crimson and cream, and an elaborate display of the colors was draped above a platform before the student body. Alabama crimson, along with white, is an official color for the University of Alabama and its athletic teams. The Alabama Crimson Tide. The specification provided by the Office of University Relations refers to the Pantone matching system, color PMS 201. There are different versions of the origin of the nickname, Crimson Tide. The football team was originally called the Crimson White. The first nickname newspapers used was the Thin Red Line. Hugh Roberts of the Birmingham Age Herald is credited with being the first to use the term Crimson Tide in 1907 when Alabama tied a heavily favored Alabama Polytechnic Institute 6-6. The game was played in heavy rain and the field was red mud. The Thin Red Line was equal to the task and became the Crimson Tide. Harvard Crimson displayed left is the color Harvard Crimson, the color which is symbolic of Harvard University. The first recorded use of Harvard Crimson as a color name in English was in 1928. Red Devil at right is displayed the color Red Devil. The color name Red Devil for this dark tone of crimson has been in use since 2001, when it was promulgated as one of the colors on the Zona.com color list. Boston University Red. Boston University Red, a shade of red, is one of the official colors of Boston University. In nature, algae, the crimson tide, which sometimes occurs on beaches, is caused by a type of algae known as Karenia brevis. Birds, the coxcomb of a rooster is a deep crimson color. The crimson sunbird is the national bird of Singapore. In cultural references, the King's Royal Hussars still wear crimson trousers as successors to the 11th Hussars. In Polish, karmazin is a synonym for a magnate, i.e. a member of the rich, high nobility. In texts of the Baha'i faith, crimson stands for tests and sacrifice, among other things. In the series, A Song of Ice and Fire, by George R. Martin, crimson is the family color of House Lannister. Food rhubarb is sometimes poetically referred to as crimson stalks. Military in the United States Army, crimson is the color of the Ordnance Corps. School colors. Multiple Greek letter organizations use crimson as one of their official colors. Delta Sigma Theta, Kappa Alpha Psi, and Kappa Alpha Order. Crimson is the school color of several universities, including University of Kansas, Harvard University, Indiana University, Korea University, New Mexico State University, St. Joseph's University, Tuskegee University, University of Alabama, University of Belgrano, University of Denver, University of Mississippi, University of Nebraska at Omaha, University of Oklahoma, University of Utah, Washington State University, and Worcester Polytechnic Institute. The daily newspaper at Harvard is the Harvard Crimson. The daily newspaper at Alabama is called the Crimson White. Harvard's athletic teams are the Crimson, and those of the University of Alabama are the Crimson Tide. Vexillology. Crimson is the national color of Nepal and forms the background of the country's flag.